Thank you. Please announce yourself. All participants are muted. Entry and exit tones are off. Okay, good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. I hope everybody is feeling incredible this morning. My name is Haziq Ali. I'm a revenue acceleration expert. I am a self-esteem development fanatic, starting with my own. And our whole purpose every single morning is to help you go further, faster, with less effort. Whether you're checking in from LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, one of our Facebook groups, maybe you're on my timeline specifically, I want to say good morning, millionaire, to you. I want to say to you that this could be the day that changes everything. I want to say to you that if you are willing to serve, then guess what? You deserve. The universe that we live in has a really interesting yet profound rule, and that is life rushes in to support whatever supports more life. Life supports whatever supports more life. And so if you will just focus yourself on becoming more, then before you know it, you'll be able to do more. And then before you know it, you'll have more. Don't you think it's interesting that the more you use a muscle, the stronger it gets? Does that feel interesting to anybody? That if you stop using a muscle, then you lose it completely? Life rushes in to support whatever supports more life. You can call it God, you can call it universe, you can call it Jesus, Allah, Buddha, you could call it any force you want to call it. The bottom line is, after you become valuable, you become powerful. After you use it, it starts to expand. Whatever you put energy in, it's going to grow. This is a law of the universe. I hope I'm making sense to somebody out there. And this morning, what we're talking about is how to step that up a little bit. This morning, we're talking about how to step up your entrepreneuring. But first, we're going to rep our city. Let them know where you're checking in from. Let them know how you're feeling this morning. Let's go and get it. Brooklyn, New York is in the house. Let's go. Miss Wood is in the building. Miss Weish, let's get it. Let's get it. Miss Levon, okay. Good morning, millionaires. Big Jeff is in the building. Let's go. My man Ken is up in here. Damon Ivory, let's get it. Let's go. Detroit checking in. Meridian, Mississippi checking in. Let's go. Let's go. My man Digital Daryl is in the house. Hey, let him know, Damon. Let them know. Hey, share this. Hit the share button. Like Mr. Ivory says. Sumter, South Carolina's in here. Let's go. Let's get it. Good morning, millionaires. Dr. Marilyn made it in. All right. What kind of businesses y'all got, man? What kind of entrepreneurs we got out there? What's up, Miss Mandy? Let them know what you do. Because check it out, y'all. Extraordinary entrepreneurs tend to inspire. Y'all ever notice that? They inspire. But how do they do it? What sets a good entrepreneur apart from a mediocre one? What sets an extraordinary leader apart from the regular Joes, Well, one thing I can tell you for sure is that extraordinary entrepreneurs have learned how to influence other people, right? Influence their thoughts, influence their feelings, influence their behaviors. Does that make sense? I'm talking about people like Martin Luther King, people like Gandhi. Can I see it in the chat? Who are some of your favorite leaders throughout history? Can I get everybody to give me their favorite leader or their favorite entrepreneur throughout history? I would love to know. What's up, Samaya? Who's your favorite leader? Who's your favorite leader or entrepreneur throughout history? My man Flono is in the building. I would love for everybody to share whoever their favorite is. Whoever their favorite is. Who is your favorite entrepreneur throughout history? Or who is your favorite leader throughout history? Anybody want to share that? That's a real question. What's up, Vanessa? Who's your favorite entrepreneur or leader throughout history? All right, I see Malcolm X. Simone gonna go with the easy answer. All right, Simone. All right, Shiz, what are they? Madam CJ. Malcolm X. Patricia Felton Patterson. Maya Angelou. I don't know if you tagging somebody, Damon, or that's one of your favorite leaders throughout history. See a lot of Madam CJs. Wayne Dyer, I believe is his last name. Okay, and different people letting us know what kind of businesses they have. All right. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, y'all. So every one of these leaders you guys mentioned, from Malcolm X to Madam CJ, you're going to discover that they have these 10 qualities that we're about to talk about. I'm going to give you 10 of them. I suggest you write them down. Maybe we'll get deeper into this later on in the week. But the bottom line is I want you to kind of jot these down. And a lot of times what we'll do is we'll self-assess. So somebody give me the first one. Extraordinary hunger and drive. Number one is hunger and drive. Extraordinary hunger and drive. Somebody type that in the chat and then give us a share. Share this to a messenger group. Share this to somebody you love. But first put hunger and drive, because this is what sets an entrepreneur apart. Hunger is more important than intelligence. Hunger kills fear. And one thing about entrepreneurs, one thing about the world's greatest leaders and entrepreneurs is they have this insatiable hunger to make something happen. They must do, create, share. This is what makes them unstoppable. You got me? And through this drive, they start to learn different things. They learn how to influence people. They learn how to change the culture around them. But it's all coming from that drive they have to get something from the invisible into the tangible. And if you study a lot of the great entrepreneurs in history, you'll see that their hunger comes from a whole lot of different types of places, but mostly it comes from something that was missing in their life. This is why I always remind you, adversity is an opportunity. You'll also find that an entrepreneur or a servant leader usually has a willingness to confront authority. These are the people that confront and challenge the norm or the status quo. These ain't the people that conform to it. As we learn from Stranger's Secret, the opposite of bravery is not cowardice. The opposite of bravery is conformity. The opposite of bravery is fitting into everybody around you. Entrepreneurs don't do that. Leaders don't do that. So how do you get better at influencing people? First of all, you get better at influencing yourself. But what you'll discover is that anything that intensifies the hunger and the drive in you is going to make you a more powerful leader. The greatest hunger is to serve something greater than yourself. And that leads us to the next one. Exceptional and compelling vision. Exceptional and compelling vision. Come on, give it to me. The first one was hunger and drive. That's exactly right. Let's go, y'all. Hunger and drive. Here's the second one. Exceptional and compelling vision. Exceptional and compelling vision. Exceptional and compelling vision. So what do we mean by that? What do we mean by that when we say entrepreneurs have exceptional and compelling vision? Check this out, y'all. Small visions have no power to move anybody. Somebody write that in the comments. Small visions have no power to inspire. Small visions have no power to inspire. I want you to write that out and share it with somebody so that you lock it into your brain. Small visions have no power to inspire. If you're just now joining us, we're talking about 10 qualities that set great entrepreneurs apart. And the second one that we're talking about is having an exceptional and compelling vision. And here's what I want you to know. Small visions have no magic in them that'll stir a man's blood. You got me? Small visions have no power to inspire, Sade. That's exactly right. Small visions have no power to inspire. That's exactly right, Kenya. Small visions have no power to inspire, Tess. Yeah, Shanice. Small visions have no power to inspire, Kay. Let's get it. So what are we saying? If you really want to unlock an extraordinary life, you got to have big dreams. You got to have big dreams. This is why great leaders always have a vision that's larger than themselves. Trying to influence other people to support some self-serving agenda, that's a mistake that a lot of leaders make. What you want to do is remember, first you serve, then you deserve. Wielding influence is a very powerful thing. but it's only supposed to be used for the greater good. If you're using it for selfish purposes, you just became a manager. You just became a somebody who's bossy rather than a leader. You're trying to manipulate instead of influence. If you really want to stand out and influence other people, your vision has to capture the hearts and the minds and the energies of a significant number of people. Your vision has to be so big that other people can see their vision inside yours. Your vision is to change the world. Their vision is to take care of their family. Guess what? We all making sense here. You get what I mean? It's got to be a vision that involves other people. It has to be a vision for how life can be better for a certain group of customers, or a certain group of people, or a certain gender, or a certain race, or a certain country. Am I making sense? There's got to be something that makes people want to bring their resources to the table. There's got to be something that makes people want to contribute their energy to achieve that vision. Am I making sense? And when you have a specific purpose that benefits the people that are around you, others are going to be drawn in to help you. This is why I told you life supports whatever supports life. They come in and start helping you, and now their influence starts to bring other people to you. But it all starts with your vision. Yeah, it should scare you. It's so big. It should be so big you can't pull it off without God. All right, y'all ready for the third one? Absolute certainty. Absolute certainty. Absolute certainty. This is huge, y'all. An entrepreneur, an extraordinary leader, a world-class business person, a world-class salesperson is always going to have an absolute core belief that they can bring their vision to life. An absolute core belief. There is power in belief. And if you're going to influence other people, it's always going to start with your own conviction. Certainty is one of the things that shape a human being. People follow people who do things in a certain way. Sometimes I use this example of being caught behind somebody and some train is coming across the tracks and you're about to be sitting at this stoplight for 30 minutes that you didn't plan. But suddenly somebody pulls out that crowd and they're certain. They hit that corner, boom, boom. So what do? You pull out the crowd too and be like, that person knows where they're going. Do you know that's how it works in life? Millionaires, certainty is what shapes human beings. It's one of our 6 human needs, right? Millionaires, it's a crucial component in you being a leader. It's a crucial component in you being an entrepreneur. Uncertainty, doubt, and fear. These are some of the devil's biggest weapons, y'all. Truly influential people, truly world-class entrepreneurs, people that are looking to make something out of nothing, understand that the fear of not following their vision is way bigger than any fear that might come from moving forward. They know that hunger destroys their fear. Hunger destroys your fear. Hunger crushes fear of failure. Just like the opposite of depression is gratitude, the opposite of fear is hunger. Think about good entrepreneurs that you've ever seen in action, right? Haven't you ever noticed their passion is infectious, right? You've never seen an incredible leader say to the team, I'm not sure we can make this work. Or maybe I'm not the right person for this job. No, entrepreneurs say yes and figure it out later, right? An incredible leader, an incredible entrepreneur is going to engage those around them by acting with complete and utter certainty. They use their fear to push them even harder. Here's the fourth one I got for you. You ready? A passionate and effective communicator. Passionate and effective communicator. What do we mean? Man, this might be one of the most important things that I could teach you. Somebody yesterday was talking about they're running a training system. They're doing like a training and the people that are around them won't pay attention. I was like, have you ever taken our Train the Trainer course? If you guys aren't in the Kaizen Academy, you may want to consider enrolling. You may want to consider investing in yourself, especially if you get something out of this stuff every morning. You may want to consider supporting whatever supports you. You may want to consider investing in your skills. If you can learn one new skill every week, at the end of a year, you got 52 new skills. How in heaven's name could your bank account still look the same if you had 52 extra skills? You get what I'm saying? But one of the skills that we teach in Kaizen Academy is communication. Millionaires, This is probably one of the most important things you can learn. Influence is communication with the external world. Programming, right? Conditioning is the communication with yourself. Have you ever noticed you can't turn the volume of your inside voice up or down? You ever notice that? Has nothing to do with this training. But what I want you to understand is, to influence other people, you got to already know what influences them. That's how you influence people and make real change. You got to know who your audience is. You got to know how to reach that particular audience. Your passion brings the energy, but your effectiveness comes from knowing who they are and how to speak to them in a way that moves them. Everybody's moved in different ways. So that's why getting this right is so critical. That's why we study personality types. That's why we study ourselves. That's why we study servant leadership. You know, people who are trying to influence others a lot of times talk in the style that works for themselves, right? So a winter personality treats everybody like a winter. A spring treats everybody like a spring. But unless you get lucky and you're talking with a group of people who think just like you, this type of communication is going to mess up every time. The ones that know how to influence, the ones that know that eventually become world-class entrepreneurs, they know that influencing people can't be done without an understanding of them. You've got to get to know them better. Passionate and effective communication boils down to one thing. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. But once you're there, you can inspire people to do things that they'd have never been able to do on their own. Here's number 5. Brilliant strategy. Brilliant strategy. You can't just be tactical, which is how we achieve the goal. You got to be strategic. You can't just be tactical, which is the methods. You got to be strategic, which is the plan. You got me? One thing about world-class entrepreneurs, they figured out a strategy to get from where they are to where they want to be. They figured out a strategy to make the invisible into something tangible. If they aren't strategists by nature, they know how to recognize a strategy that's effective. You hear me? Am I making sense? Entrepreneurs who know how to be leaders, right? Entrepreneurs who know how to grow their business, not slow their business. They're strategic in their communication style and their messaging. You hear me? They're strategic in how to get the job done. They're strategic in knowing how to work with this person versus that person. They know they need a strategy for what they're doing. They know they need a strategy for communicating. They know they need a strategy for influencing other people. You got to know when to give and when to demand. You got to know when to talk and when to deeply listen. You know, as much as developing strategies is about creating an action plan, it's also about understanding when your team needs to recharge. When you're creating strategies as a leader, you can't be afraid to reevaluate what it is you're doing either. Am I making sense to somebody out here? Am I making sense? Here's number 6. The ability to care and connect. The ability to care and connect. That's number 6. The ability to care and connect and break patterns. Can somebody type that in for me? The ability to care and connect and break patterns, Dr. Monet. The best way, I'm talking about you can't come harder than this. The best way to make change, the best way to influence others, you hear me, is to break the current pattern. Leaders know this, and they use this same principle to challenge people, even if how they challenge people might vary sometimes. Some people use humor to break patterns. Some people do it by listening more. Some people do it by being empathetic, but all of them got one thing in common. They truly care about the ones they're influencing. They truly care about how to connect with them. When you care enough to connect with people, when you learn their patterns, now you got the ability to influence them, y'all. Write this down in your notes. Rules without relationship create rebellion. Rules without relationship always create rebellion. Rules without relationship create rebellion. Nobody cares how much you know till they know how much you care. I want you to understand, you're going to come against somebody, you're going to come against some group that's going to try and stop your progress. And if you don't know how to influence them, if you don't know how to change the patterns of people that have limiting beliefs, you're not going to be all you can be. I hope I'm making sense. I'm not saying that you're going to be perfect on all of these right now. I'm saying this is stuff to put on your roadmap. Like, hey, I got to work on that. So what do I have for number 7 for you? World-class entrepreneurs, unreasonable expectations and standards. That's a big one, y'all. If you're going to change the world, you got to have a standard of unreasonable expectations. Ain't no way you're going to change the world and accept the world at the same time. Ain't no way you're going to change the world and tolerate the world at the same time. Ain't no way you're going to change your life and be mediocre at the same time. Only way something revolutionary happens is when you won't settle and when you know how to influence others not to settle. We all get what we tolerate. Can somebody type that in the comments for me? We all get what we tolerate. And then share that with somebody. We all get what we tolerate. So what does that mean? That means as leaders, we got to create a culture where people live bigger lives, where people have higher expectations of what they can do and how they're treated. And then we got to do our best as leaders to give them the tools to unlock an extraordinary life. Like you're giving your people a tool when you share Good Morning Millionaire with them, when you plug them into what we do every single morning. That's a tool that'll help them unlock an extraordinary life, God willing. But the biggest difference between a manager and a leader, biggest difference between some mediocre entrepreneur who's hustling out the back of their trunk and somebody who starts to build a business system is that a manager gets people to do things by supervising them. A leader, on the other hand, inspires people to a new standard. You hear me? You hear me? Even when the leader ain't there, people still live by these new rules because now it's the standard. You hear me? Unreasonable expectations change the world. Matter of fact, that's the only thing that ever did. And when you as an entrepreneur have higher standards and you know how to have other people adopt these higher standards as well, that's when innovation happens. That's when lasting change happens. But you still need something else. And that's number 8. You still need something else. And that's number 8, Willette. That's right, Kimberly. You still need something else. You still need something else. Let's go, Damon. You still need something else. You need the courage and the faith to act. That's number 8, everybody. The courage and the faith to act. The courage and the faith to act. See, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage means you're afraid of a task and you do it anyway. And then having faith means you're able to work toward that challenging goal because you believe it serves a greater good. Entrepreneurs can tap into both. They also know how to influence people to embrace the same courage and faith. It's not that they don't experience fear. They just know how to dance with it instead of letting it ruin their life. Think about the difference between fear and faith. They're both just made up ideas. Fear is just undirected imagination, while faith is imagination that's directed consciously for the greater good. Am I making sense to somebody? The two sides of the same exact coin. And extraordinary entrepreneurs understand this concept. Extraordinary entrepreneurs know how to use it when they are dealing with their team, with their clients, with their mentors, with their mentees. They have the courage to act. They have the courage to take risks along with the faith that somehow, even when something seems challenging, there's some kind of nugget in this. There's some kind of jewel in this that's going to unlock some more creativity for me. And since creativity is next to godliness, I'm going to come back like I left something. You hear me? They have the courage to get back up because they know if they can look, like my mentor always says, if you fall down, fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Am I making sense to somebody out there? This is what inspires other people to dance with their own fear. You're starting to create that domino effect. Here's number 9. Here's number 9. Y'all ready? Here's number 9. Insanely persistent, yet flexible. Their approach is insanely, this is number 9, y'all. Insanely consistent and yet flexible. I don't know how much you've noticed it, but ain't nothing constant but change in this crazy world we live in. Ain't no constant but change. The only thing that's going to stay the same is that everything always changes. You hear me? But great entrepreneurs, they continue to learn with every interaction. So they good. They continue to learn with every experience. So they good. They never turn off their learning machine. They never turn off their capacity to adapt to new environments, the capacity to develop new skills. And there's always something inside them that hungers to know everything they can know to be able to master something that's related to that vision that they were talking about. You hear me? That's why a mental toughness hack that nobody talks about is actually being interested in something. Because if I'm actually interested, if I'm actually enjoying this, of course I'm gonna last longer than these chumps that's doing it for the money, or these chumps that's doing it because somebody's making them do it. You get me? It's the persistence that comes from your true interest that'll turn setbacks into come-ups. That's how you mess around and you look around and all these people are following behind you. When you were just doing it because you were being obedient to a vision that God gave you. You got me? Millionaires. You'll notice that with great entrepreneurs, failure don't seem to stop them. It's like they failed before, but they always learn from it. Millionaires, one mistake that a lot of people make when they want to influence other people, when they want to be a better entrepreneur, is while they may have mastered persistence, they end up getting a little rigid. They do the same things that they've been doing from the beginning, even when it ain't working so well. That's why a couple times this week, you've heard me talk about how if you want powerful, exponential, quantum leap type results, if you want a breakthrough, don't do more of the same thing. Be flexible. Try something completely different. Be persevering, but don't be rigid. Don't be stubborn. Don't be stuck in a rut. Maybe it's time for you to introduce something completely new to your routine, because persistence can work against you unless you pair it up with flexibility. Here's the last one I got for you, y'all, and then we're going to do our affirmations. Y'all can start calling in on the affirmation line right now. Number 10 is authenticity, congruency, or you can say integrity, the whole idea that you're whole. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. A true entrepreneur leads by example. And when you're trying to influence other people, you're going to have to walk your talk. Me and Damon was just talking about it yesterday. It's going to be hard for you to be a leader to your team if they never see you on the leaderboard. Millionaires, one good thing about an entrepreneur is that they never ask others to do what they ain't willing to do. Chances are they was just now the one on fries last week if they're running a restaurant right now. You hear me? This is about leadership from their core values. This is about knowing that influencing other people is meaningless unless it comes from authenticity. You hear me? You got to have authenticity, millionaires, if you're going to create credibility. And you have to keep congruency between your words and your actions, because without credibility, no one can lead. No one can be successful. Nobody can figure out how to have any influence over their team, their coworkers, their employees, or their clients. All great leaders, all great entrepreneurs, all people who have figured out how to influence, they have stories of possibility instead of impossibility. People who tell the story of impossibility, the story of not being able to achieve something, they're not influencing others. They're not leaders. They're not entrepreneurs. They're not the ones that make something out of nothing because they've already given up. I hope you understand this is just not for Fortune 500 company CEOs or politicians who lead in some big movement. Millionaires, this is for you. You can be great. You can influence people to the greater good every single day, even if you're not in a leadership position, because leadership is a disposition, not a position. I hope this was helpful for you. It's affirmation time. Repeat after me, millionaires. Let's get it. Let's get it. Y'all ready? I am so happy and grateful that money comes to me easily and frequently and in all kinds of ways. I am so